What's the
Okay.
name of the show? Hi, everybody. This is Chip, and I'm with Roxanne and Brad
And
Harder, who you know from the Christmas House movies and the Aurora Teagarden Mysteries, where he's been promoted to sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be talking with him and taking some questions. And I'm going to turn it over to Roxanne now. Welcome, Brad.
hi,
Thank
Brad.
you.
My,
Hey,
fir- my,
thank you both so much for welcoming me to your show.
You're
well, it's
welcome.
Roxanne's show. I just horn in once in a while.
No,
That-
it's fine.
That's
I
wonderful. It's good to do this stuff with your friends. That's what it's all about, right?
I
yeah,
know.
I have a question. I'm going to just get out of the way because I know you're Canadian. Are
Yeah.
you a hockey fan?
Yeah, I do like hockey. Am I going to go and turn on the TV and watch hockey? Probably not. But I love going to games. It's so fun. And growing up, I grew up in the prairies, and there was rinks everywhere
Oh,
in our
wow.
neighborhoods, which was so fun because it's bloody cold out there, and because everything's frozen, you can skate everywhere. But it was just such a good way to grow up. Yeah, and so I miss kind of doing that stuff as a kid.
Yeah, I'm a big hockey fan, and I had season tickets to the Philadelphia Flyers for 24 years. And you're right,
Wow,
watching it on TV is a lot different than being there. I'd much rather be
totally,
there.
totally.
Moving from New Jersey to Massachusetts, the hardest thing was to give up those season tickets. I
Oh, I
knew I'd see my
bet.
family. I knew I'd see my friends. Once you sign over those tickets, boy, you're done.
Right, and you're not a Devils fan?
No, we're from South Jersey. The Devils are North Jersey.
Yeah.
Not only do I not like the Devils, I hate the Devils.
Well, they got the name for it,
I
so
know.
there
That's
we
it.
go.
Yeah. So
I, I,
anyway,
I would I would be, and I am an Oilers fan. I grew up at a time in Alberta when the Oilers were doing real good. We had Wayne Gretzky and
mhm.
Mark Messier, and just a lot of great players, and they won a whole bunch of Stanley Cups for multiple years in a row. And then the team fell apart, unfortunately, and there's that.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Yep, I
So
do.
I know Roxanne's probably having a fit that I'm steering the conversation away from us.
No, I love it. I'm listening. I love it. I love that when you co-host, I like it because I get to enjoy the conversation
Okay.
more because I can focus.
Okay. Well,
I
I
don't
want to
have
talk
to like,
about then great. I want to talk about the Christmas House first.
Yeah, let's see.
I
That's
just watched them both this weekend. They've been on my DVR.
awesome.
One's been on my DVR for over a year. Of course, I cried. The first one I really had a hard time watching because the first 3/4 of it to me was just about loss, losing the house, losing it.
Right.
And then the last 15. So I cried the whole time. First, I was sad, then I was happy.
Yeah.
So it came on. Well, it was December 2020. You probably
Yes.
shot it during the height of the pandemic,
Yeah.
and
We we we
it was
shut
probably one of the
we.
first Hallmark movies to really go out of the Hallmark mold of white, straight. You had gays, you had Latinas, you had all this stuff that they didn't have. Were you conscious of that? Were you guys conscious of that, or was it just another movie?
No, this is something that all six of us in the ensemble cast, we came together, and it was just one of those things of having the opportunity to tell a new story, to tell new stories. Not just it was not only the first time that a married gay couple was featured in a Hallmark film, but also just other stories as well, like coming from broken relationships and having to work through that, and when you've been in a relationship for a long time, having to figure out and still having to figure it out, right? Like that's the thing with relationships, they never stop, even in Hallmark. So it was just nice to see, some of those things being honored, and real people's stuff being represented, and us being able to do that, all six of us. And for me, my part was I really really enjoyed that, and yeah, it was very special for all of us.
Well, I knew we were going to be interviewing you, so I watched you carefully, and it was interesting that you were in the background, but you were there. It was just interesting. Like, and the thing I liked the most about the gay story was it wasn't a big deal. It
Right.
wasn't. There was no story. I mean, she had that line in the beginning, "You're my favorite son-in-law," and that was it. Then you knew.
Mhm.
and nobody made a big deal about it. The neighbors, the Latina grandmother didn't say anything, which was, which is unusual. Roxanne and I grew up in a very ethnic area. So, and the fact that the female lead was divorced was also a big departure because they're usually widows.
Right.
So you guys took all kinds of risks, and I'm glad it was a hit. And I'm glad now that they're going to do. I'd like them to do one every year.
I'd love that. I would love if the Mitchells hung around Hallmark for a while.
Yes.
It's really fun. Last year, like I said, we got together and it was really the first project all of us worked on since the start of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were just all really excited just to see other people and interact and just be able to do what we love and tell stories. And so when we got together this year, it was just like coming back together. It was really, really special. Our cast was the same, and it grew because we had wonderful new characters to kind of dive into as well, like Zane. Matthew played him, and he did a fantastic job. And we saw more of the producer, played by Michelle Harrison. So it was just really fun to dive into those things. But not only was the cast the same, but the crew was the same.
Oh, that's great.
And that doesn't happen that often, where everything is the same. And it was just like we were just all so ecstatic to be together. More so just like to hang out and tell another fun story,
The first one, I was telling Roxanne, the outdoor scenes were one of the most realistic outdoor snow. What was it? Was it 90 degrees and you were shooting it with fake snow? It actually looked like real snow.
Well, they do bring in real snow, but they've got some tricks. But the first one, it was pretty hot, and there had been a lot of forest fires, and so it was really smoky. I remember that the first week we were shooting, so it was really hot because that smoke just kind of kept all that heat in. And then this year when we shot them exactly the same time, mid-September to the first week of October, and it wasn't too bad. Like, we were wearing sweaters and jackets and not sweating our everything off, so it was very doable. Sometimes, unfortunately, you shoot these things in the middle of summer. Wow.
Right, and it's not. Yeah, I've read like behind the scenes things where they're drinking hot chocolate and it's 90 degrees out. The other thing about the Christmas House 2 was so often, I think that one of the biggest complaints I read online is, they don't come together till the last 5 minutes, so you don't really know what happens next.
Right.
And I really like that. And I really like that Roxanne and I are both old soap opera fans. So we want to know what happens next. What happens the next day. And that was great. I mean, I would love it if they did it every year. I'm sure everybody watching this. And you get the same continuity with the Aurora Teagarden movies.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate on both of these. They're both like families to work with on both of these shows. The Christmas House is so special, and we click so well as a family. This time, the director that we had, Rich Newey, he just kind of let us go for it, just because we all kind of knew each other, which was so fun. We just kind of got to try stuff, and there was a lot of improv, and
that's fun.
It is really fun, and so much of it was kept in, which doesn't happen all that often.
With the Christmas House, it was lighter than most movies, so you can get away with being silly, I guess.
Yeah,
it looked like you guys were having fun.
We were. Those dinner scenes, which let me tell you, sometimes when you're shooting a group scene or a dinner scene, it can sometimes be like just a little nutty, but they're so much fun. Just laughter and hysterics the entire time.
My friend Jason works on Blue Bloods, and they have a dinner scene every episode.
Yeah.
My favorite show.
It takes like 2 days to shoot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
they love it. They love it.
That's so fun. Oh, Treat Williams. He told me. By the way, Treat is my favorite. I just love him so much.
I've loved him since Prince of the City when I was a teenager.
He's an amazing actor. He really is.
He is an amazing actor, and he lives up by you guys. He lives in Vermont.
Yes.
which
Oh,
I'm
right,
gonna,
right. I think
which
I did know he was.
yeah, which I need to get my butt up there too.
And I love that he's the Hallmark keeps on going back to him. I love that.
Yeah, he is so fun. Him and Sharon together, oh man, what a duo! I tell you. But speaking of Blue Bloods, he was mentioning that he is the only person outside of the family on Blue Bloods that has ever been to that dinner table.
Good
Yes.
for him.
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct. They even talked a little bit about that in one of the episodes not too long ago, where they were saying, the characters were saying, like, you know, we don't ever really bring anybody from the outside to our table. And they mentioned him because he's, you know, his partner. He plays
Yep.
Tom Selleck's, you know, partner
Yep.
from back in the day.
Right.
I have a quick question for you. Well, may not be quick. I love the little like trivia piece where the baby is really your baby.
Yes. Yes. My son was in the first movie.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
It was very special to have him in the movie.
what was it, a planned thing, accidental, like?
So, like I said, it would, because this was the first project for most of us coming back since the pandemic. I had done one Aurora beforehand, which we had shut down halfway through, but most of us came back to this being the first project, and they hadn't really lined up a baby, but they had found out that I had a son when we did the table read.
Oh, you did a table read. Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, so we did a table read video just like this,
Yes.
and they're like, so, and my son ran in at one point, and they're like, so you have a son? Can we use him? I'm like, and so we made it happen, and it worked out really well. Height of the pandemic, you know, not knowing kind of what, you know,
Yeah.
what was going on or all the precautions. So that was an easy thing to do. Stressful, bringing your own child to set, let me tell you, that's a whole different can of worms, because he doesn't know it's set. He just thinks it's a house filled with really cool decorations, and he just wants to tear around and explore the whole thing.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Now,
And the Christmas house, the way that these people design this house, it's incredible. It is incredible. It's like a Christmas explosion. It's everywhere. It's like the things that they like, those set designers are incredible. And this story was inspired from Robert Buckley's family growing up, and they took some of the things that Robert had mentioned, like they had the telephone booth in their living room. Like they brought one in, a replica that looked like it, and they had a train room. I don't know if there was any other things, but I know that they always just moved out all the furniture out of their house, just like in the Christmas movie. They move out all the furniture, and it's every room is designed so incredibly well.
Now, is that I'm sorry, a real house? Is that a real house that you, or is it more of a set?
No, this is a house. Both movies have been in houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, you know, angle wise, get the camera in, trying to film. That must have been interesting.
Yeah, it can sometimes be a real can be a minute, that's for sure. But these guys are so good. You know, our crew up there, you know, it's fantastic. We shot in Victoria, which is a hop, skip, and a jump for me. So they're pros. They know what they're doing.
Is it the formula that we hear about of like 2 weeks? You like 17 days or so many days to film, and then you're done, and you got to wrap it up. Is that true? Or
yeah, most TV movies are done in a 3-week span, and this one was. Yeah, they're 3 weeks generally.
So how long is it from the time you know you get the part to the time you start filming for the first one?
Sometimes you get a bit of notice, and sometimes you don't. On the Christmas house, the first one, I think I had 2 weeks notice. Yeah, so not much. No. It's pretty tight. Maybe like from when I originally read for it to when I got the heads up that I got it, it was a bit of time. And then when I finally had word to being on set, it was pretty quick. I think I think it was more around 3 weeks. I just did a different Christmas movie where the turnaround was 2 weeks, and that was a little squirrely.
Now, is that for next year?
I did a new Christmas movie. I'm going to tell you all about it in a minute after we finish talking about this. Yeah.
All right. I have one more question about Christmas House. I assume you have agents and managers and people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Were they when you read for this role and it was a gay character, did you get any pushback? Did they say, "Oh, you might want to think about this," or what was that all about?
Oh, who's got fire engines?
I didn't do it.
Your house is all right?
No, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, I have an incredible manager and agent that is here in Vancouver, and for me, one of the most important things is to be authentic. And as an actor, I want to play a whole variety of roles.
Mm-hmm.
If some of them happen to be LGBTQ, that's fantastic. But there's a whole slew of other characters that I want to play as well. This was a part and a character that is pretty close to how I am in real life. Life imitates art, definitely, in this one. So that was really, like, when I read it, I thought, wow, this is incredible. This would be a really fun one to get, because it just touches on so many different areas that I can relate to in my life. You know, being a parent, you know, in the first movie, awaiting some of these calls. Our son and our daughter were both born via surrogacy, so it wasn't adoption, but I definitely can relate to what it's like to wait to get those calls, you know. So it was really meaningful and special to me, and on top of it all, just to be represented, my family, to be a family like mine to be represented on Hallmark is very special, you know. So that was something that I really wanted to do. But no, definitely with my agent, you know, I'm like, I want to do all the types of roles. If there's parts that are a lot like me, great. But I also want to play villains. I also want to play.
I was just going to say, it would be great to see you play a bad guy. You should do one of them. Hopefully, they'll cast you in one of the mystery movies as the bad guy.
I'd love that.
Now, you've have like all these other parts, like Twilight Zone and things like that. Do you have any that were like your favorites that stood out? I mean, I know they weren't recurring roles, but I was looking and I was like, oh wow, he's got a list of different things here, all different, like you said.
Yeah, I've played a whole bunch of different roles that have been really fun. I actually really enjoy playing a cop on the Aurora series. Just playing that type of an occupation, it's fun. It's really fun to get to wear a uniform and that sort of thing. I did an episode on I did an episode on Supernatural. It was one of my first gigs, and I played a World War II soldier, and that was so fun. Yeah, so fun. Love period pieces and playing soldier types of roles would be really fun to do in the future.
Oh,
well, I like, you know, Roxanne and I both love the Aurora Teagarden movies, and I think out of all, and we watch most of the series because, you know, like I said, we're old soap opera fans. You like continuing characters. Yeah, and I think that the Aurora movies, the secondary characters, it's the best round of secondary characters there are out there. I always say, if Candace Cameron Bure wants to skip one, it can go on without her because the other characters are so well developed.
Like, we have this idea. We love Candace. It's not like we want her to not be there, but I think it would be fun if, like, she got kidnapped and the rest of you all tried to figure it out to save her. So you'd have a chance for all of the characters to come out because they're good. You're all good. We love it.
And it gives the other characters a room to breathe. Like, when I see that you know, the Arthur and Lynn characters aren't going to be on, I know you're going to have a bigger part, right? Because you get those lines. Here's the question I wanted to ask. The woman who plays Lynn, Miranda, how do you pronounce her last name?
Freegon.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Freegon or Freegon. I
think it's Freegon. Don't, you know?
You never hear them. You never hear them, right? You
hopefully, I said it right.
But you know, she's my favorite character in all.
Cool.
She's amazing. And
Miranda's
the last
really
one with the honeymoon, I mean, she just stole the show.
Good, yeah, she did so well. There was a scene where she confronted Candace, and that was such a great scene. I
sat here and cried.
Oh, he gets so sentimental over it. He always
my theory is they desperately want to be friends with each other, but they just can't because they make each other crazy.
which is what makes that dynamic really fun, right?
Yes.
Exactly. I just told Roxanne yesterday, they hang out. I mean, they go to each other. They're always hanging. They're always at their mother's house or whatever.
They're everywhere.
They don't. But I think your character, I wish that they just give it some more. I create backstories for characters as an actor. You probably do too.
I do, and you're right. Like, there is so many secondary characters on that show that there sometimes isn't room for that. But you know, it's been a really fun one to work on. Certain ones, when I love working with Peter Benson, he's so fun. Yeah. He plays Arthur, and
as a director, he's probably even makes it more interesting to work with him.
So I haven't worked with him as a director, actually.
No, I mean, because he is a director.
Yeah, totally.
His performance.
He's just so fun to play off, even Miranda. And it's fun because my character is a morph of both of them. So that's really fun. Sure. Like, like that's kind of where that character has moved to. Is he is a little bit. He has that analytical kind of side that Miranda has, but he also has that just kind of that charm and what if kind of side that Arthur has.
It's a little goofy. I like that.
Yeah, and I do like that too. And I am different with each of them. On the honeymoon one, because it was me and Miranda, I was a bit more like her, and sometimes certain parts of Arthur would come out in Charlie Heard. But in the one prior, where Miranda wasn't in that one, it was I got to play a little bit more of what Miranda would have brought to the scene, which is really fun.
Oh, I bet. See, now are you shooting one now?
We just finished shooting one in December, actually.
The one that's going to be on in February, the flashback one.
Yeah. That one's going to be cool to see. You'll love it.
So, what do you think? Your character? Do you have a backstory for him?
There's a bit more backstory coming in that one. So,
because I have a backstory for him. Roxanne won't let me say what it is. So.
There's a bit more in that one. So hopefully more to come with Officer Sergeant.
Sergeant, yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. We were shooting not the I'm terrible. Not the honey murder. What was the one prior to that again?
The wedding one.
Yes, Till Death Do Us Part. In that one, we were shooting it, or was it the one before? We were shooting it, and all of a sudden I'm like, the executive producer, Jim, he also writes them. He's incredible. I was like, man, I must be a really bad police officer because I haven't been promoted. He's like, oh my gosh, you're right. And so in the next one, he's like, I'm going to promote you in the next one. So he did, and that was really fun.
Studying for the sergeant.
That's how that kind of happened, yeah. We're also, Lawrencetown PD, kind of the worst police in the world.
If they need a librarian to crack their cases, come on.
I mean, Lillian's got it down. She's good.
Oh, okay, he opened the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my mind, your character is either secretly fooling around with Lillian or Philip. I haven't figured it out.
Love it. I love where this is going. I
think Lillian is like a real party girl when she's not at the library.
Like secret party girl.
Well, I said something else Roxanne won't let me say. I also like the idea of, Philip is studying forensics and all that. I'm like, maybe something's happening with Charlie and Philip, but we don't know about.
You never know.
Behave. So we're going to get something juicy or more about you in the next episode.
Yeah, you'll get a little bit of backstory, a little bit more details. Not a lot, but just a bit.
Okay. All right.
On all these amateur detective shows, the cops are the worst cops in the world. Terrible. Or else the main character won't have anything to do.
That's true. Yep. Yeah. In some of them we've been pretty close. Like Aurora overhears us talking about it and then jumps us to confronting a person, probably rashly.
Well,
but
Well, Aurora is like Jessica Fletcher. She confronts the suspect unarmed, with no backup. And then Lynn, Arthur, and whoever her boyfriend is.
We come to save the day. Yeah, it's how we got to do it.
And I have to ask you this: and I know I'm gonna choke up when I say this.
Oh dear Lord.
I know, I can't help it. You know, somebody said in the comments that I cried for a week during that one scene with Lynn and
Longer.
I did. Did Bob Saget ever come to the set to visit?
No, we unfortunately never got to meet him, so that was really sad news to hear.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
So
could just,
I'm sorry.
no,
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted
You're
to. That
right.
was just something I was curious about.
Yeah.
Before we talk about your new stuff, I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Are you however much you're allowed to tell? I know some people can't say much, but I was interested, and to me, because this is in my mind. Now I say this to Chip and he's like, it's no big deal. I'm thinking you're 18, you leave Canada to come to New York City, like by yourself. Is that what you did?
So I actually lived in Edmonton for 5 years, and
Okay.
then I came here and I started taking some classes, and I had somebody I was taking classes with. I'm like, where did you study? And he's like, oh, I went to the neighborhood playhouse in New York. And I'm like, okay. I looked it up. They had a summer program. I'm like, great, I'm going to go do it. And so it was very last minute. I got my visa literally 2 days before I had to leave.
Oh, wow.
I did not have a place lined up. I decided to I'll just hostel it for a couple days. Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
What's the worst that can happen?
A
Did
lot.
that. Well, you know.
Roxanne, you got to take a risk. Come on.
Honestly,
you do. He did. It paid off. Go ahead.
You got to do it. And honestly, that was the greatest summer I've ever had.
Oh.
You know, I went to the Playhouse. One of my classmates and I ended up subleasing a place in Chinatown, and still some of the best friends that I have to this day live in New York City, and are some of my theater classmates, and it was just the most exciting and most fun summer I've ever had.
But there's an intimacy to that kind of work.
Totally, and
yeah.
every day we're getting together at 8 a.m. and doing a dance class, and then we're going in for like 5 hours into an acting class with people that have done this forever, who've trained Diane Keaton and
Yes.
Robert Duvall, and
Yep.
like these
Big
guys
names.
with huge people, and after a summer like that, you cannot change. It just on top of just being in New York City for an entire summer and being in that environment, it was just it was one of the best decisions I just made, and it was on a whim.
Now, did you study? What exactly were you studying? Like, because when I was looking it up, there's like film, there's theater.
Yeah. So I studied theater.
Okay.
Back when I was there in 2009, they just really did theater. That's it. So yeah, theater, body it. Yeah, I do. Unfortunately here, we don't have a lot of theater, and it's definitely something I want to get into more. That's how I got started. As a kid, I was in any type of school production that was out there, and that's how I got kind of my acting bug, and it was just so fun.
Did you do musicals too? Do you sing?
Yeah, I sang. So I sing first, and it's been a minute since I've done it, but I definitely want to get back there, because it's just, for me as a kid, it was just so liberating. I was like a duck out of water. I grew up in a small town. You put your hands on your hips and your elbows stick out of town, kind of that big of a place. And there was no kids like me that were into theater, and that's fine. That's cool. That's how most actors, how we are, right? We're different than the rest, and that's wonderful.
Did your parents say, act like everybody else, knock it off? Or did they encourage?
No, my parents were very encouraging for me to perform. I did grow up in a very kind of conservative, very Christian family, and just an environment. So that was quite difficult later on, kind of thing, just coming out and that sort of thing. But I was always encouraged to sing and perform and do what I love to do.
What was your first role that you can remember you had when you were younger, like in one of your plays?
Yeah, I don't know. I played we did this David and Goliath type of play, and I got to play David. It was so fun. And I remember that. I sang so many different songs, and it was just a blast. And it really, it's one of these memories that really sticks in my mind of just um, getting to perform a character and just loving it.
That's nice. It's nice that you get to do what you love, because we don't all get to do that. Like, I'm a teacher. I love being a teacher.
Yeah.
Now, Chip's an accountant. Do you love being an accountant, Chip?
I do. There's
He's a
more
number
to it
cruncher.
than people think. I really like my work a lot.
Well, there's so much to accounting as well. We just think about, a little calculator and just a dark room, and he's just punching buttons all day. But there's quite a bit involved in accounting.
Yeah, not it's not too bad.
No,
And my office is on the beach, so I can't
yes,
complain about
you
that.
do have a nice office.
How can you compete with that?
Yeah.
You can't. We can't. We cannot.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So somebody asked Janice, which is my sister's name, but that's not my sister. Asked, "Are you a tenor, baritone, or bass?
I'm a tenor.
Tenor.
Yeah.
I'll show it. I'll show you what she said.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
There you go.
I had the privilege. I was in choirs pretty much all of middle school and high school, and got to do some really fun things, touring and doing different stuff as a choir, and that was just really fun, and just a good way for me to also get into performing and figuring out what that's about. So I really enjoyed that when I grew up.
No, you have credit as an assistant director. What is that?
Oh, goodness. That's a whole lot of work. Assistant directors are amazing, let me tell you. Like, you go onto a set, they work like crazy. And I am not built for one. Nope.
No.
I did on a short film. I did a few short films, and a friend of mine asked me to be the assistant director. Goodness gracious. It's like herding a bunch of cats around. It's crazy. I mean, kudos to anyone who is an assistant director. It is such a skill, and I'm sure I could learn to do it, but don't want to.
It's a job.
One and done.
It's a job.
I have a friend who's
actually. It was like 3 and done.
I'm sorry, my friend Fritz is a stage manager on The Young and the Restless.
Oh, wow.
And he's also a director sometimes. And he's the first one there and the last one to go.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky that I get to be home with my kids, and then when I work on a film crew, I get to goodness, what is happening around here? Do you hear these sirens?
Yes. It's okay.
Oh, okay. And then when I go on set and play these characters, you just have people that are really catering to you, and it's such a privilege. But the crew works so hard on all of these movies. They work so hard. It's really incredible, and really a gift to be on set every day. That I get to be there. It really is.
I guess with the pace so fast, they really have to have it together and make things happen quickly.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks. I mean, I can't imagine you throwing things in there. And then I'm thinking about the filming not for Aurora, but the filming inside that house. I keep thinking about the cameras, the house, and all those decorations. Then you threw the baby in the mix. That must have been fun.
Yeah. It's the first. So between the first movie and the second movie, the house did change to a different neighborhood. It is almost the same house on the outside. So they did a really good job of scouting it out. So the first house was a little bit tighter, and the second one, there's a bit more room.
Well, they probably didn't run into that again. Yeah,
they've got it so figured out, though. It is such a well-oiled machine. They just know what they're doing. It's so cool to be around just the set and just to see these people work. It's pretty incredible.
I know behind the scenes stuff is just as interesting as, who's in front of everything. I've interviewed like a costumer for When Calls the Heart. She was amazing. And then I interviewed someone who was in charge of all the picture show cars. he was amazing.
Yeah.
And you learn all these little tidbits.
Totally.
And there's a director, he's always on Twitter, and he'll be sharing, like, when it's wet and you can't have something wet, and he gets the blowtorch out to make it dry, and all the little things that happen. And to us, we're out here and we get to see it, we just appreciate it all the more. It's fun.
Yeah, it totally is. It really is movie magic.
So
the
our
Christmas movies must be fun, though. I mean, just you're shooting it in September. It's Christmas.
We shot in the best neighborhood this year, and it was so fun. The neighbors were all ecstatic to have us there.
Nice.
And you would bring out glasses of wine and watch it from the neighbor's yard. It was really cool. We had a block party there for them. The production threw a block party for them with pizza and cake and some drinks and stuff. And it was, I've never experienced that neighborhood. Everybody was so excited. Sometimes I feel bad, like, a film, we go in and film somewhere, and it is intrusive. If somebody's just, if it's not your house involved, you just happen to live in the neighborhood. But this neighborhood just embraced everything so much, and it was just, it made it so much more special and fun. And for all the neighbors, it's like a Christmas explosion inside and out. So it's just like their neighborhoods are transformed in a couple days. It's pretty cool.
Now, that was in a real neighborhood, so I'm assuming the Aurora movies are mostly done in a studio on set.
No, actually, most of the Auroras, if not all, they're done in houses and on location.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that why Aida moves in every movie? They can't get the same house twice in a row?
Sometimes they can't. Yeah, sometimes they can't. And if you've noticed, our police station has moved 3 times.
I've noticed. And the library changes a lot, too.
The library has changed a couple times as well. The last couple years where we've shot a lot of Auroras, it's stayed the same, but kind of, there's been a few moves.
Do they ever shoot 2 back-to-back just because everybody's there?
Yeah. We did multiple times. We shot 2 at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tricky.
How did you keep that?
Sometimes you'd be like, what scene are we doing now? And you just like,
who am I?
Yeah, what murder? Yeah, who's the victim?
Yeah, sometimes you shoot them at the same time.
They're fun to watch. I mean, and they are shot well.
They are shot so well. Yeah.
The Hallmark movies are shot better than one would think for TV movies.
Yeah, they have, and they fine-tune them so much. Like the scheduling. You think 15 days is a lot, but it's not that bad. They know they've done this so many times, so they've got it down.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, and we'll look at some comments and questions, is there anything you'd like to share with us about upcoming stuff?
Yes.
Or your own life, or anything.
So during the last Aurora that I filmed, I also filmed a new movie for Hallmark. It's called Cut Color Murder.
Oh, I've seen the promos for it.
Yeah.
Julie.
Yay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
It was so fun with Julie and Ryan McPartlin, and I play a stylist in her salon and one of her best friends. It's a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard as on that set. We were just a bunch of goofballs. The way that they cast everyone in the salon, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's really fun.
Is that every hair salon stereotype you can think of there?
Yeah, probably. But I loved it. It was such a blast.
Fun.
Yeah, it was such a blast.
You're too young to remember this probably, but on Murder, She Wrote, there was one of the sets was the beauty parlor in the town, and it was every stereotype, and the ladies with the curlers, and it was the 80s, so it was the big hair.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun to watch.
There's a couple stereotypes, but like I didn't know, like I just do things on the fly. They're like, "Do you know how to color hair?" I'm like, "No idea, but I'm going to do it anyway." And so you just like doing someone's hair, and it was really fun. And you can't really cut people's hair. Like they don't really like.
Yeah, you have to be careful. I know.
They're like, don't really cut their hair,
Julie
they cut away when you're cutting.
Yeah. Julie is amazing, and I love her because she can do all kinds of. She could be very serious.
Yes.
She could be spicy.
She's so
She could
fun.
be hilarious. She's an amazing actress. I
Well,
love her.
Dallas. We loved her on
Yeah.
Dallas.
Oh my gosh. I loved her on Dallas. She was on the Dallas, like the remake of The Children. Yeah, she was good. And then
and her mom in that series is Passion star Eva.
Oh.
Eva. What's her last name? I'm terrible with last names.
I don't know. Wait a minute. Now we all have a pause. We have silence. We have
That's okay.
You'll find it.
Roxanne will do a soft show.
But it was such a great cast. Linda Boyd is in it as well, and
Linda's in it. I love her. I want her to be on for a chat, and she's like, I'm trying to like organize that. I love her.
I love Linda.
Well, hopefully that'll be another series, right?
Yes, I hope so. The premise is very similar to Aurora, where it's a similar premise. I'm not going to give too much away, but
that's okay.
It's a sleuther kind of thing as well, so you'll love it. Whereas we're in the salon. Real Murders Club is like the salon in this show.
Okay,
so it's fun.
So you all kind of get involved.
Yeah, we do.
I love that, and it's the first weekend of February, right? They're releasing it, the first one, which is exciting. Well, no, Hallmark's calling it Love-uary.
Oh,
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Of course they are.
February's called Love-uary.
Wait, is that on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries though? This is on.
This one is.
Yeah.
Is Love-uary? Is that on Hallmark Channel or Hallmark Movie and Mysteries?
Love-uary, I think, is just something Hallmark is calling. So it's probably Hallmark Channel. Who knows? Nice. I just thought it was hilarious. Love-uary. I'm playing into it, though. I like it.
Well, they used to do like they pick a month. It used to just be Christmas movies. Now it's spring movies, fall movies.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
And now all the seasons kind of thing, which is fun.
Well, then it gets there's a podcaster she reviews. She's amazing. She's called Dara is her first name, but she's called Dear Hallmark, and she gets mad because they'll release something like they just did The Wedding Veil, which was exceptional, but it's like their winter stories, but it's spring. They're in spring clothing. She's like, where's the winter feel? So she gets upset by it, but that's just like
I always say you just got to go with it, so you can't make yourself crazy.
You can't. So we have some really good questions.
It's television. I mean, we love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's television.
Yes, it is. Yep.
This is true, but people are passionate. I have to tell you, like
I get it. I get it.
I work. I have to say this on every show I'm on. I worked in daytime television for a long time. I know crazy fans.
I was his secretary for a while.
And I know you guys. And I know you're a Heartland fan, or When Calls the Heart. Yeah. Yes. So
I've never seen it.
No.
I am a huge every detail fan from day one. So,
I kind of got that from your Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what's your question here? Do you have neighbors of the Christmas houses wanting to be in, and do they get to do that? One of the owners of one of the houses that we shot in was in it. And what was her name? It was the scene. It's something sisters. But one of the owners got to be in it, and it was really, she just loved it, and that was really cool to see.
Cool.
Well, that's fun. That gives them a story to tell the rest of their lives.
If we do another Christmas house, I hope we get to do it in the same neighborhood because it was just a blast there. Yeah, so hospitable.
Well, if the house and if the setting for the house worked out space-wise, why wouldn't they?
And let's talk about the cruise house. I loved the cruise house. That's my style. Like that white colonial. Oh man, that's so cool. I love it. It was so nice.
Oh,
And I just followed you on Instagram. So if anybody, how do you pronounce the?
Oh yes, your new last name, your married name. How do you pronounce that?
Erchuk. It's Ukrainian.
So it's Brad Har Erchuk.
Yep, that's it.
Check me out.
Yeah, awesome.
You got another follower. You're almost up to 12,000. Good for you.
Oh, look at you.
It's getting up there. Actors.
Picture your baby.
Yes, I got two little babes.
Little
I've
boy and
always
girl.
been. I'm reading your question here, Kathleen. I've always been involved in school choirs growing up and been in my church choir for years. It's become such a family. Actors on series working together must feel like that too. Yes, it really does. And especially on Hallmark, because we do get to tell really, really heartfelt stories, and so in my experience, the Christmas House is very much like that, and also on all the other ones I've done 15 Hallmark movies now,
Wow.
and it has been really fun to do, to play these characters and get to be an actor on set. It's such a blast.
I mean, I love it. I
And it
mean,
feels like once you're in the Hallmark fold,
yeah.
unless you
Mhm.
show up like drunk or something, you're there.
Yeah, they like to work with people that they've worked with that do
Yeah.
good work, and
Well, again, when I worked in daytime television, the extras, the under five people, they showed up, they knew their lines, they weren't difficult, they kept on getting called.
yeah, yeah, and you want to work with who you want to work with who you enjoy working with,
Mhm.
and that goes in every industry, and it's just really fun to do on set. So
Now I see a picture of you and your husband. Where is it?
yeah,
The
yeah.
other way chip.
What
That's
does he
it.
do? He's cute. What's the
He
is he in the
he worked.
business?
He does. I dragged him to an audition once. It's never going to happen again. He works with dogs, and so
Oh,
he works with dogs. We have 2 dogs, and he hikes our dogs and a whole bunch of other people's in the mountains here, and
Nice.
that's what he does daily. Yeah,
oh, I love doggies.
yeah,
Janice wanted to know if you've ever been in a church choir.
yeah. Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, yeah.
And this, I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
No, that was it. I mean, that's where I think you, from the little pieces of what you were saying, I wasn't surprised that the answer would be yes.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
just a nice comment. It's not a
Yeah,
not a.
thank you. I definitely, especially now, if you have kids, and I want to
We
get
don't
into.
have kids.
What's that?
We don't have kids.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I saw on your Instagram that you had children.
I do. They're my nieces. I do. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Pardon
You're
me.
good. You're okay.
It's just being a parent, it kind of taken the forefront, obviously. So
Yes.
I definitely want to get into singing of some sort again in the future.
Yeah.
Teresa just posted the actress name is Eva Tamargo. I used to watch
Eva Tamargo.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I loved Pat. She was a great character, and I haven't
She-
seen
My
her.
sister loved Passion.
She's
Yeah.
phenomenal. She is such a talented and just has the biggest heart. I just love working with Eva.
Her and the woman who played her daughter, Lindsay Hartley. They used to do scenes in Spanish, and it didn't matter. We knew what they were saying. I don't speak Spanish, but you watch soap operas enough. She's yelling at her for being vixen or whatever.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, and she's yeah. So I'm
Well,
glad.
that's like Eva and Julie together, and I
Yeah.
love that. It's
Yeah.
so good. I don't know what they're saying. I know the 15 words of Spanish that I can throw together. I don't know, but it's wonderful. The context, and it's
Right.
they're the best. Yeah, it's such an amazing cast, and I hope that one is another series that Hallmark kind of grows with.
That would be great. They've
Yeah.
tried. There's a bunch that they either take off or they don't. And I hope this is one that does.
I hope so too. Yeah.
Yeah, we love Mystery 101 is really good too. I don't know if do you watch Hallmark?
Yeah, I do watch some Hallmark. Yeah.
Of course
Obviously,
he does.
And I read for a lot of them, so that's part of it too. If I'm reading for such all these different characters on different movies, I kind of have to know what the premise is,
Yeah.
So and there were some wonderful ones this year over Christmas time that were really fun. You probably saw all of them.
I didn't see too many.
Did
I
you? What was your favorite? What was your unbiased favorite? Like, it doesn't have to be the Christmas House too, but if it is,
Okay, well, that's up there. No, that one is, because I kept telling you, if you didn't see it. But there are 2 that are tied. There's 3, but there are 2 that are tied for me, and that would be gosh, my brain just went blank. The Santa, it's not
the
Kate,
Santa Stakeout.
I
Yeah.
loved that because Paul Campbell, I love him.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah,
he does.
yeah, yeah.
And
He's so
then
funny.
he wrote the one that I loved and I thought was amazing. So he's like my favorite. Now what my brain, because you're putting me on the spot, is went just totally blank what it was.
It
Oh,
was the family tree one.
family. Yes. I love that. And then
Cool.
I love the one that with Tyler Hines. Oh my God.
Oh, the
And
unexpected Christmas.
Bethany. Oh,
Yeah, that's what my friend Linda was in that one.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. Yes. And I love Linda, like I said, but I love the whole movie. I had Morgana on. She was in that and she was telling
Oh
us
yeah, yeah,
about,
yeah.
yeah, she's amazing. What I said, when are you going to star in one of these movies? Because she's a fantastic actress. But she played her assistant and she was telling us little stories about Bethany and all and how funny she is and the things that she does like improv, that kind of thing. But they were all so natural. They felt like a real family to me, like how
Mm,
in the Christmas House you feel like a family, like
yeah.
it's authentic. The same in that one. I think that's why I like them.
Cool.
But
Well,
they
it
were my
was.
favorites.
I think
That's great.
the Christmas house, it was just so well cast. You really believed these people had a history, and
Mm.
I bought the brothers as brothers. They look like they could be brothers.
Yes,
They look
that's
They're
like they could
important.
be Treat Williams' sons. I mean, it
they
really.
are they are like
And
brothers.
you and Jonathan Bennett look like
Yeah.
you belong together. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really well done.
The cast is so good. Jonathan and I hit it off immediately, and we shoot
Love him.
he's amazing. He's such a great actor. He gives so much as an actor, and it's so fun. We hit it off right away. We hung out. We got the privilege of hanging out outside of when we were shooting as well, and it's such a blast.
Nice.
3 weeks in Victoria, so fun, so
It
fun.
seemed like you probably I've met him before and he's like very personable. I was at this big, like I think it was the first time I ever met him. I think it was not rom-com, Christmas con in New Jersey. My
Right? Yeah.
sister was with me and my sister's like, "Oh, look at him and that baby." And I turned around, he just scooped up someone's baby and was holding the baby and he was walking around and talking to everyone and he's like extremely personable, but then he's funny. He says some really funny things and sometimes his humor is like, are you joking or are you telling the truth sometimes? But and then you laugh more. I think I love watching it. He did a little quick live for New Year's Eve with Tyler Hines. Now he was blinged out. Tyler Hines was like hat low, real dark in the room, talking to him real calm, and he was all excited because he was going to be there for the ball dropping, and he had a glitter jacket on top of another glitter jacket, and I'm like, he must be a blast to do behind the scenes. Like,
Yeah, it was really fun. In the first one, in the second one, I actually broke my foot a few days before we started before we shot, and I thought I just badly sprained it. That's a little trivia for you, or a little bit behind the scenes stuff. But it was actually, in fact, like pretty broken. It was fine because I was able to put weight on it. But you see in that movie, I held those kids a lot. So it was a bit painful at times. But and the first one, what was really fun is we did so many different things. We did a video with Sharon, a dance video that you can see on my Instagram. That was kind of the Mean Girls. You'll see it. It's so fun. And just tons of different things behind the scenes that were a blast to do. Unfortunately, in the second one, wasn't able to move around as much, so was a bit of a bummer.
The brothers, I just bought them as brothers. They just look like they had so much fun together, like the teasing and all that. And I think it was like, I feel like, is this the second movie? Because it feels like they have a really good connection. It was really well done.
Yeah, what was really fun in the second one is our relationships. I got to do some scenes with Rob and with Anna, and we got to kind of see each other deeper, and it was more honesty
I like that
there.
because I felt like that was one of the few things missing from the first movie. Like Jake was just there.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Which was great. But what was his relationship? She says you're my favorite son-in-law. That's cute. Yeah. But what's the relationship? But I like the very first scene in the airport where they pretend to be fans and jump on him and say, "Oh, take my picture, handsome Justice."
Yeah. That's
Oh, I'm
crazy.
sure it took so much acting to do that.
So my friend Scott, who's Philly Hallmark guy, says
Yeah.
Sergeant Charlie and Davis would be a great duo. I'm holding out for Philip. I think Philip is
Never
good.
know.
You
Yeah.
never know. I'm
We got-
excited about
Now,
this.
now there's 3 possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3
I like
weeks
the
included
Lillian
table
one
read.
too, but I think Lawrence, Lawrence and the Aurora movies are pretty white and non-diverse when it comes. So I'd like there to be a gay character. So why not you?
Yeah, why not me? Does 3 weeks include a table read? We generally do. If there's a table read, it'll happen a few days before we get there.
Okay.
So it'll just be before.
Just
Now they figured out that you
imagine.
don't have to be there to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, this is amazing. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
fun.
guys, for having a chat.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you got to see both of them. It was so fun to do, and hopefully the Mitchells will make another round, or unless Hallmark decides to make the Mitchells a series, that would be fun
That'd
too.
be great.
They should. They can because there's more stories to tell. They can.
Hey, we can be the Modern Family of Hallmark. No big
Oh
deal,
gosh.
right?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be
So,
great.
We'll
Now
see what happens.
and thanks for joining. I know how much actors hate talking about themselves, so thank you for putting yourself out there.
Well, it was a fun conversation just to have with you guys.
No,
so
we
thanks so
really-
much.
We enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah.
And this will live on YouTube, Roxanne.
It does. It'll be up. It's evergreen. Yep. It'll be
There you go. Great. Well, great chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for
And,
taking the time. I followed you on Instagram. Everybody else follow Brad on Instagram.
There you
Wait,
go.
he wants to plug your next movie.
Cut Color Murder. What is it? February 6th, I believe.
I think so. I
It'll
am
be fun.
so excited
Yeah.
for that one.
It'll be fun.
I cannot wait. All right. I'll say the good nights. And don't forget to tune in next Monday when I have Natasha Burnett and Viv Leacock on. And they are, my hearties. They're from When Calls the Heart, but they are amazing. They have like all between the two of them, the things that they have done, we've got a lot of material to discuss. I'm so excited.
And
all right,
maybe we can have Brad back after Cut Color Murder.
Oh yes, Brad, you could come back.
Well, actually, we should have you back if you're willing after Cut Color Murder, before the next Aurora.
Let's see if we can do that. That'd be fun.
I want to be your friend. So whatever you can do.
Thanks for the visit, guys. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
See you later.
Take care, Brad. Thank you.
Bye.